Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied, and Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made, rebound! Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen. The average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. We'll see increasing clouds through the afternoon, but nice and warm with a high temperature of 76. Around 4 to 5 o'clock, we begin to see showers and some thunderstorms crossing the area, and that rain will be with us through the evening commute. We do clear out tonight. We'll see a low of 42 and bright skies tomorrow, but cooler with a high of 62.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb and Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 188 points to 43,245.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Every offseason, there is this NFL Players Association survey that goes out to all the NFL players, and it gives the results, give a grade to different teams for things like food that they serve in the cafeteria, facilities, ownership, coaches, all this sort of stuff. And every year we look at it, and it's usually pretty rough for the Panthers. But this year, I think we should handle it a little bit different, because there is also a separate anonymous survey that went out to NHL agents. And it was about the same kind of deal, right? Ownership, front office, where would you like to play, whatever. And I thought that was a really good way to look at a couple of questions here, or look at answers from both of these surveys. Because obviously the Panthers, for lack of a better term, haven't won very much in the last 5 years, right? They've been near the bottom or at the bottom at different times over the last 5 years. Meanwhile, the Canes have made the playoffs every year. They've won a playoff series in every year. They have a lot of goodwill built up, right? So it's like, let's see how the ownership or the team or whatever fares in these anonymous surveys compared to one that's winning a lot less or winning a lot more, depending on how you compare them. Dennis, you've looked through all of these surveys. Why don't you give us some of the more interesting answers?
So looking at let's go Carolina Panthers to start things off when it comes to football at 4. So a lot of their grades are actually relatively similar to what they had last year in terms of, for example, the Panthers locker room grade in 2024, the players last year in their survey said C+. This year's survey, C. So again, roughly the same. Treatment of families went from a B to a B+. Okay. So different things like that. So everything relatively close.
Which likely means there weren't any significant changes, right? Like, yeah, they may have changed the poster of who's on the which player is being promoted, but it's the same room, it's the same lockers, whatever.
So the big one comes from regarding ownership. That's the lowest grade. Go figure.
This is stuff I'm looking forward to hearing.
So these are again anonymous player. Well, it's NFL Players Association. Mm-hmm. The results, like who gives these individual answers, might be anonymous. But this is coming directly from players in the Carolina Panthers. They feel owner David Tepper. The players feel that the owner only slightly contributes to a positive team culture, ranking 31 out of 32 in the NFL in terms of owners. The players also feel that ownership is only somewhat committed to building a competitive team, ranking dead last out of owners in the NFL, 32 out of 32. So our owner doesn't care.
That stings. And it stings and it stinks. We can, whichever one you choose. That stings for a few reasons. One, the owner has the owner has to sign off on the bigger things, right? If you're going to give a quarterback a gigantic contract, if you're going to reset the market for a wide receiver, if you are going to trade something significant, the owner needs to sign off on it. So if you're a free agent and you're choosing where to go, and I'm not talking about like the T. Higgins or the biggest, the most expensive that are deciding between 30 and 35 million. I'm talking about if you're just a free agent role player with options. You got 3 teams that want you. Similar offers, similar cash. You want to go somewhere where you believe you can win. And if the players on that team are saying the owner doesn't care about winning, you can probably guess how those signing offs will go, right? Hey, we can have this player, but we're going to have to do XYZ financially. It's going to be a big commitment from you. You're going to put a bunch of money in escrow. No. Who's going to want to play for that team? Right? Role players want to win too. I do think most of the super duper high ticket free agents do go to the highest bidder, but you get to that next tier and below, and they're looking at situation, and now you don't have an owner that you love.
So another one of the big complaints regarding the team are they feel like some of the facilities are a little bit outdated, like weight room equipment, those things. But the need for renovations and continued use of turf instead of grass is one of the biggest complaints from Panthers players, and that's also one of the reasons why there's a lot of continued low grades driving down that grade for owner David Tepper.
Do you know what's frustrating about that? The turf versus grass thing is such a simple fix. For a billionaire, it is such a simple fix. And it's been extremely public. Like it comes up 3 times a year. I learn that people are upset about the turf for the Panthers against my will 3 times a year. Like, I'm not clicking a link. I'm not Googling it. I'm not searching for it. It comes up in things like this survey. It comes up in things like when Lionel Messi comes to play at Bank of America and he doesn't like playing on turf. And it comes up like if I'm an owner, if I'm what is he, 30 billion, something like that, 22 billion,
20,
whatever it is. If I have that much money and I know there's like a universally approved thing, Like, if I do this, everyone will be happy. I would do it. If like all my employees are universally like, we'd like to have grass. Why not? It's just, it feels almost stubborn to not do it at this point.
It's because Tepper wants to, couple things. One, it's cheaper to maintain. But two, he wants to do concerts and those kinds of things there and not have to worry about ripping up grass.
I understand the logic. I mean, how much does it cost to just
resod?
Resod, I don't know, 4 times a year. Like, you're a billionaire. Do you know do you see what the salary cap is? They just updated it today. I think it's $279 million for this upcoming year. That's official. $279 million NFL salary cap. Do you know how they decide what the salary cap is?
It's revenue.
It's 49% of revenue. Owners get 51%. So you're getting an additional percent more as an owner than $279 million from owning the Panthers. Now, obviously, there's operating costs, and it's not like you're getting $279 in profits to go, or $280, whatever it is, in profits to go run to your. But take $1 million, right? Like, that's ridiculous for me to say, but I'm talking about somebody that's revenue sharing up to $200 and something million. Take $2 million and give your team something they want.
So if you look at conversely, looking at the NHL survey.
Okay.
So this is done by The Athletic.
So general vibe from the NFLPA is David Tepper not highly thought of. But if you believe in the winning solves everything, that makes sense, right? Like, you lose a lot, people aren't going to be happy with the ownership. Now let's look at the Canes.
Oh, by the way, real quick, head coach Dave Canales got an A- grade. So
hey, way to go, Davey C.
So if we actually look at the NHL survey, this is done by The Athletic. So The Athletic did a survey earlier this year with players, players saying, like, hey, what team do you hate to play against, what building you hate, those kinds of things. Now, this was actually done, but with NHL agents. So these agents represent, obviously, hundreds of players across the league. A couple of the questions that were asked: which is the best run franchise in the league? Number 1, Tampa Bay. Next to, like, tie for second, Florida and Vegas. Go on to what is the best run front office in the NHL? Tampa Bay right there at the top, along with Minnesota, Dallas, all right there at the top. But then you go to teams that are most unstable.
Have we heard Carolina in any of these lists?
We have not,
okay.
but
I was like, did I miss something? That's fine. Go ahead.
Which is the most unstable or poorly run franchise? Believe it or not, the team the Canes are playing tonight, Buffalo, they stink. Anaheim, Chicago, San Jose, Carolina, coming in 5th in that category. But by and far, you go the most most difficult front office to deal with, tied for second behind Anaheim, Carolina Hurricanes. Hurricanes along with the New York Islanders. But here's the biggest one. Who's the worst owner in the league?
That's just simply the question?
Simply, who's the worst owner in the league? By far the highest answer, Tom Dundon.
When you say by far, what spreads are we talking about?
He had a 10, the next one was a 5. So like double the next person. Double the next person. And here, these are anonymous quotes. I'll read these from NHL.
That's like a Tepper number there. That's like...
Yes.
Wow.
Like, the agents feel like he is the worst owner in the league. And here are some of the quotes. Quote, I don't know how he has the time or energy. He's the de facto general manager. That's what one agent said. Another agent said, a lot of people in our business hate to deal with Tom, hate the fact that Tom is so bleeping involved, and he is basically the manager, and he has a lot of strong opinions too, and he's not afraid to tell all of us privately those opinions.
Wow.
So, yeah, no decorum. Also saying, quote, this is another general manager. His general managers, this is another agent. Tom Dundon's general managers and assistant GMs have to ask him permission for anything. And then continues on. Another one said, they've got some smart people there, but you just feel their culture by not even working there, just being around it. It's not a great one.
Okay, so 2 things. One, we do have to consider the source on this. This is coming from agents. If agents are getting quote-unquote beat in negotiations, they probably don't like the person beating them.
Or they're just tough to deal with.
Exactly. So I'm just saying maybe grain of salt, right? Like if somebody is just gave up 40 to LeBron and then they come out and say he's the best basketball player in the world, I'm gonna be like, all right, well you're a little biased right now. The second thing is I am wildly surprised that you'd be that negative about a team that wins so often, right? Because you would think you would, as an agent, you would be excited to put your players, your clients, on a team that is going to make the playoffs every year. And I mean, for the good and bad of Tom Dundon, and I'm sure on this network and many others we've talked, and they've talked about a whole bunch of positive pros and cons. Hard to argue with the results since he took over as far as turning a franchise that was losing a bunch into a franchise that wins a bunch. So it just, I think it's the word you said. I think it's decorum. I think there's a way to say, no, the deal you're proposing is outlandish without it being painful and hurtful.
One agent said about Carolina, and Tom Dundon said, quote, "It's dysfunctional how the owner micromanages everything."
And you could probably say decorum is one of Tepper's things as well. Like it's not putting them in the same category because, again, winning and losing are different. But there is, I don't know, maybe a little brash, and people don't like dealing with brash.
You know, ironically, the team voted with the best front office, the best run organization, Tampa. Their owner, Jeff Vinnick, was voted the best owner in the league. And that's a team that also wins.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, just because you're winning doesn't mean that you're like everything's all rosy, or vice versa.
Yep, exactly.
But Buffalo, the worst run franchise, they stink. They're the worst team in the Eastern Conference. Tom Pagula, their owner, was the second highest rated worst owner in the league, and Tom Dundon had twice as many votes as him. I'm like,
I'm just going to be honest. I'm surprised that Dundon, even knowing, like, you go back to the Aho situation years ago, you go back to the Kokiniemi offer sheet, you go back to so many of these deals dragging on, and we're just going, just sign them, you're going to do it. Like, we've tracked all of that. I'm still surprised that he is that far and away voted 32 out of 32. I would expect it, as we said earlier, I would expect a lot of 30-plus rankings for things going on with the Panthers because the winning hasn't been there, the dysfunction's been there. For the Canes, I'm surprised. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. Thank you for combing through all that, by the way, Dennis. Hopefully that goodwill will mean that you're going to throw me a bone and lose the ladder challenge, which is coming up next. Stick around.
Listen for the...
Oh, my goodness!
Check in for the...
Beautiful back cut and a two-hand jam.
Don't miss the...
Race to the other end. Get ready for the show!
What was that?
A reverse pull-up! My goodness! Hubbard got hit, and he made the shot!
You're home for the Final Four from San Antonio.
Cooper got it to rattle home!
99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Tax Prep. We're saving money by having our intern rap in this commercial.
Don't stress, Jackson Hewitt's got expert tax prep, 149 or less. Yo, some tax guys lie about price. They got hidden fees, that ain't nice. Ain't nice. Don't ignore MC Kevin's rhyme, cause this deal's for a limited time. 149.
For tax prep that's $149 or less, hurry into Jackson Hewitt today.
No cap.
Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
When you're hiring, have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting truly great candidates for your roles? It seems impossible to find them, but they have to be out there somewhere, right? Well, they're not hard to find when you know where to go, and that place is ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. And because these people are actively looking for jobs just like yours, it's easy to find the right person right away. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter, you're missing out. So see what it's like when the impossible is easy. When you go to ZipRecruiter.com/free right now to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Looking for the perfect kitchen, bath, or flooring? At Home Outlet, we don't just promise the guaranteed lowest price, we back it up.
Yeah, but how low are we talking?
We'll beat any competitor's price by 10%.
That's wow. But okay, what makes your store better?
Funny you should ask. We're 100% employee owned. Everyone here has a stake in making your home projects affordable and stress-free.
So I'm getting expert advice, unbeatable prices, and I'm supporting employees who actually care?
Exactly. Why shop anywhere else? Home Outlet, kitchens, baths, floors, and more at the guaranteed lowest price. Visit us at homeoutlet.com today.
Hey, Tim Donnelly here with a game day tip from WakeMed Heart and Vascular. Nearly half of all adults in the United States have high blood pressure, putting them at risk for stroke and heart disease. Managing blood pressure levels starts with a checkup with your doctor and knowing your numbers. If your blood pressure is high, you and your doctor can team up to achieve better results. Get in the game and know your numbers. Learn more about caring for your heart at wakemed.org.
Now hustling with it is Huxton. Tries to make a move, but Chatfield with an outstanding defensive play. And now it's a 5-on-4 as Carolina kills off the first part. Now they'll be offside as the puck went off of Martinook, went over the blue line, but the Canes will take.
This is The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. The NFL Combine is going on. We're about to do the ladder challenge. I looked at the sports books that I have accounts at. People keep posting about, like, you can take over-unders on, like, 40-yard dash times and stuff for guys.
Really?
I want to be involved in this. I can't find where to bet them. I know these guys. I've done the research.
Sounds kind of underground.
I know who's going to run fast. I can't find where to bet them. So if anybody can hook me up, let me know at Donnelly Sports on Twitter and make it legal. Don't be like, hey, I got a friend down the street.
I got a buddy.
He's saying Scattaboo is going to run a 4.5. What do you like? Give me something a little more concrete than that.
So it's like basically over under like 4.5.
Yeah, exactly. Like
TreVeyon
that? Henderson 4.42. And do you think he's going to go faster or slower than that? I think I got a good bead on a couple of these guys.
Minus 110.
Yeah, exactly. Just I'm sure it's over. And maybe you could tease it. Maybe you could go find who's the Isaiah Bond, the fast guy from Texas. You want to go like 4.28? You can tease it all the way down. I don't know. It's a few things. I couldn't find it. So my ladder challenge, I had goals of it being like, give me Aeneas Peoples, the defensive tackle that was at Duke, who's now at Virginia Tech, sub 4.9. That's what I wanted it to be. But I couldn't find a place that I wasn't like, I'm not looking to make like a new account at some place sketchy, but I'd love to be invested in this over the weekend. So
a place that steals your information.
Yeah. We only take Bitcoin. I don't have any of those. Anyway, so ladder challenge, it is a more traditional bet for me. But I did win last night. I had Clemson minus 3.5 over Notre Dame. Clemson won by, what is that, a whole bunch, 83-68. So
yeah, I'd say you hit that one.
No sweat victory for old me. Are you also still alive?
I'm still very much alive. I had over 3.5 goals between the New Jersey Devils and Colorado Avalanche. Colorado won 5-1. It was interesting. It was 1-0 going into the third period. I was like,
That's when I remember I said I was going to do like some mischievous. I should have gone and unplugged the power or something.
Yeah, right. Flown all the way out to Colorado just to
win the ladder challenge. All right.
Worth it.
You're in the lead, so go ahead and give us your pick for tonight.
So yeah, I am up to now.
And we're nearing the end of February, so you just got to make it home.
I just got to win out. $35.80 is what I'm currently sitting at right now. So I'm actually going to go to the St. Louis Blues taking on the Washington Capitals tonight. Caps at home. They're buzzing right now. Give me Washington and St. Louis to combine for over 3.5 goals again, minus 750. So that $35.80 will turn into $40.50.
I just need you to mess up at this point. Tonight, I'm going Luka Doncic, 35-plus in points, plus rebounds, plus assists versus Minnesota, with the logic being he got the revenge game against the Mavs out of the way. I'm sure that was emotional. I'm sure he had been circling that. It had been a whole thing. Now he can just go out and play basketball, and when Luka just plays basketball, he's really good. So 35 points, plus rebounds, plus assists. I think he might get there in just points. and then I'll just have a whole bunch of assists and rebounds as Aflac insurance runs.
All right.
My Little League baseball team used to all hands in the middle. If we had a lead, we always broke it down on Aflac because we were going in for insurance runs. Needed extra insurance runs. That's what we used to do. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. That is the ladder challenge. I have the trophy. It's in the studio. It's not on the desk right now. But unless Dennis messes up here in the next day or two, that's going to be relocated. That's ladder challenge, but we are not slowing down because it is time here on 99.9 The Fan for some Hurricanes and Cons.
You need one thing above all else.
That starts with a W.
Confidence.
Hurricanes and Cons. What are you most confident about for the Canes? What are you most concerned about the Canes? And while you're thinking about the Canes or Whalers for tonight, since it's Whaler night, start thinking about your first goal scorers. We have a first goal scorer prediction game that we play every single time there is a game on a show day. At 4:33, we're going to open up the phone lines for 3 of you to be official contestants. Call in with the player you think that will score the first goal for the Canes and the period in which you think it will be scored. If you get it right on the air, you will get a sweet Apex Racing Lab gift card. I'll explain more as we get closer, but that's at 4:33. Be ready for your first goal score predictions. Dennis, it's time for Hurricanes and Cons. I'm not a superstitious person,
okay,
but in case there are those out there that are superstitious, the Canes need a shifting of like juju, shifting of vibes. So guess what we're going to do? You're going to go first.
Okay.
I go first for Hurricanes and Cons all the time, but obviously something's off in the alignment of the planets. So you get to go first on Whalers night. What are you most concerned about for the Canes/Whalers?
My concern is their lack of depth at center. The one big thing that stood out to me about the trade with Mikko Rantanen, and the thing I say was the void, was you traded Jack Drury as part of the deal. Jack Drury was one of your top face-off guys, obviously. He and Jordan Staal being basically, 1-2. Right? He'd be number 2 guy behind Jordan Staal. You needed a defensive zone face-off draw. You needed a penalty kill face-off draw, and Staal was tired. Jack Drury was your guy. You don't have that now. So there's a lack of depth at center. I know Jack Roslovic early in his career played center, and he's played obviously on the right wing in Carolina. He's played right wing in past stops as well, whether it's when he got traded to the New York Rangers last year. But I don't know if he's a center built for this system with Rob Brindamore. So they just lack that entirely right now. And I think that's something that has to be addressed within 8 days.
So
8 days being the trade deadline.
Here's my concern, and it's right along at second line center specifically. It's rare that a problem just exists for this long. Like, how long has everybody just looked at this roster and go, man, all they need is a second line center? There were times where that felt like the only thing you needed. There were times where it felt like that was among the 3 things you needed. There were times where it was like a goalie and a second line center. But second line center seemed to be just consistently on the shopping list. And it got me thinking. Here's a question I have for you, Dennis.
Okay.
Are there, right now, walking planet Earth or skating ice planet Earth, 64 NHL quality first or second line centers? Right? Because I do this with quarterbacks, meaning there just aren't 32 quality starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And if 1 or 2 teams have a backup that's starting quality, you get down to all right, there's 14 teams that have a quarterback that's worthy of starting and everybody else is chasing that. They don't grow on trees. Quality centers don't grow on trees.
They don't.
Even if you know you need one, it's like nobody's giving them up. Are there 60? Because every team would need 2. There's 32 teams, right? First or second line centers. There just might not be enough to go around. There might not be 64 of them in the league. Gosh forbid there's a couple teams out there that have 3 top 2-line quality centers, and their third line is just, right, being quarterbacked by a first or second line level center. Are there right now, and by the way, they have to be of age, right? Don't be like, well, there's a 14-year-old, right. There's this guy's 64, but when at his prime he was. No, are there 64 appropriate age, first or second NHL line quality centers on planet Earth?
I would say yes.
Really?
I think so.
Okay, so what we need to do is find the 65th and somehow convince them, whoever has that person, to move them to the Carolina Hurricanes.
Well, the thing is, like, some of them are a little bit older. For example, like if Getting Malkin, Sidney Crosby are on the older side of things.
If Sidney Crosby wants to come play for the Canes,
I would not hate that at all.
but I mean, it's like if Taylor Hall was a center. If you take everything about Taylor Hall, and he was a center, that trade is perfect, right?
Yeah.
If he's an MVP from almost a decade ago that's, trying to play out the end of his career on a winner and is cool to be a top 9 forward, and he's a center, I think that trade is perfect. But it doesn't seem like guys like that are available. If they're available, they're wingers.
And sometimes there are teams that are loaded with their top 6, and there's a guy who's capable of playing center that does get bumped over to a wing. So sometimes you do have those kinds of situations. Like, for example, the New York Rangers traded for JT Miller. They have Vincent Trocheck. They have Mika Zibanejad. But sometimes, hey, you know what? Mika Zibanejad bumps over to the wing. So you have seen that before
they have
with
3.
teams.
Yes, that's like
so.
That's looking at I don't know, like the Vikings last year with Darnold and maybe J.J. McCarthy. Like, there are a couple teams that might have more than their allotment. It's just basically the reason why I framed everything this way is I do believe the Hurricanes are aware that second-line center is something that they are being held back by. But it's not just, okay, we'll go spend the draft picks or give up the prospects to go trade for one. There might not be any for sale. Like, there's not a lot of teams that are just going like, yeah, you know what? We have 4 top 2 line centers. We've got one to spend. So here you go. We'll take back some draft picks. It's just they don't really exist.
So yeah, that's kind of where they're sitting right now. So to me, it's center depth. That's my big concern.
What's your confidence?
Have you done your concern?
My concern was second line center.
Oh, second line center.
We're in lockstep here.
Completely the same. My big concern, or not say my confidence is as this team we know is talented, and they have time to figure it out. I don't want this team to be playing their best hockey in February.
Facts.
I want this team to be playing their best hockey in April, and then in May, and into June. That's when you want them to be playing their best hockey. Now is the time to struggle and figure it out. You're not catching the Washington Capitals for the top spot in the Metropolitan Division. You're just not. If you do, that's a massive collapse by Washington.
I'm feeling very curious today. Are you ready for another question?
Okay.
If the NHL had their playoffs mid-January to mid-February, do the Canes already have a Stanley Cup in the last 6 years?
If they played it from when?
Mid-January to mid-February. Because they've peaked at the wrong time a few times in the last 6 years, where they're the best team in the league, but then they something happens, an injury occurs, whatever it is, and they're not that team in the postseason. It's like, I would rather it be the opposite, where if they're not the best team in mid-February, but they put it all together later. And I'm not saying that's going to happen this year. I'm just saying it could happen this year or next year or the next year or the next year. Keep hope alive. My confidence, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
I tried to go with the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid.
Okay.
My confidence is Jacob Slavin. I mean, I watched the Four Nations Cup. I know many of you watched the Four Nations Cup. When you get best on best, USA against Canada, and there is a defenseman that is the best player on the ice for long stretches, and yes, the names you're thinking were out there, right? McKinnon, Matthews, like all the big high-profile names, and Jacob Slavin looks like and is the best player on the ice for long stretches, and everybody notices. National media writing articles about how awesome he is. I'm not going to overthink it. That's my confidence for the Carolina Hurricanes.
Yeah. By the way, there's someone on our YouTube live chat that D. Ely says, bring up Ryan Suzuki. Maybe that's your answer at center. Here's my one thing I'll say about Suzuki is that guy's been in the organization for a long, long time. And if he hasn't gotten his chance now, then clearly they know something that we don't.
Here's what I don't like about that comment. Ryan Suzuki seems like a great dude. I think he is a great piece to have in your farm system. If there is one of those catastrophic moments like happened earlier in the year with guys with the flu and everyone out, Ryan Suzuki can come up and give you 8 minutes. Ryan Suzuki is going to be a pro in the AHL, right? He is going to be somebody that can show the way of the system to the young guys. But you hit a little bit of Ring of Honor complex when you start saying, like, he's your answer at center. Because then I have to be the bad guy and go, no, he's not. When I want to compliment Ryan Suzuki, right? I want to say he's a great dude to have in your system. He's a great story. He's overcome an absurd amount of adversity. Mm-hmm. But he's not your answer at the NHL level to play meaningful minutes at center or winger or.
Yeah, especially to be a number 2 center, because if the Canes organization felt he could be the number 2 center, he would be the number 2 center right now.
I think there's a decent chance if they thought he could be the 4th center, he'd be in the NHL significantly more often than he's been.
And not Tyson Jost or whomever else they brought up. Juha Jaska.
I want to be positive about him because he seems like a crucial member of the farm system. It's just that's what he is, right? And it's no different than when the people would yell for Martin Necas to be a center, and I'm going like, now you're making me. I want to compliment Martin Necas when he was here on his potential to be a high-scoring winger. I want to be excited about when he takes the puck and he goes a million miles an hour and does all the cool stuff. I don't want to be here saying, I don't think he's good enough to be a second-line center. I don't think he has the skill set and the face-off wins and everything else to be a center. It's no different than when people start yelling about, like, Donovan McNabb should be in the Hall of Fame. And I'm going, like, now I get to be the bad guy and say he shouldn't be a Hall of Famer. When I want to be the good guy and say he should be in the Eagles Ring of Honor, right? I want to be complimenting 100%. People. I don't want to be bringing them down. But when you get too far out over your skis on somebody, it seems like I'm being the bad guy. I like Ryan Suzuki. I was so excited that game where he got in and had that moment and he got called at 2 o'clock to be here in like a 7 o'clock game. Like, it was such a cool moment. But I don't – if he's a major part of the Canes moving forward, I don't like that for their postseason run or whatever it is. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It's time for Whalers' first goal scorer predictions. We'll open up the Heaster Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. Call in right now with your Whalers/Canes first goal scorer predictions. Who's going to score the first goal on Whalers night for the Canes, and in what period will they score it? We need a player's name and a period. Call in now, Heaster Automotive Group hotline, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. While Dennis gets those callers lined up and call in, still openings, I will give you the update on what the prize is. If you get it right, you're one of the 3 official contestants we take on air. You make your prediction. If you get the name right, the player, and the period, you get the ultimate sim racing experience from Apex Racing Lab. A gift card to rev up your engines at Apex Racing Lab, the Triangle's largest sim racing destination. Experience the ultimate thrill with 20 cutting-edge simulators, expert instructors, and world-class virtual tracks. Located in Carey's McGregor Village in Greater Raleigh, visit Apex Racing Lab today and unleash your racing passion. Learn more at apexracinglab.com. That's apexracinglab.com. Again, the only bits of information we're going to need from the contestants are who will score the first goal for the Whalers. It's the Canes, but it's Whalers night, so we're saying Whalers. And in what period that first goal will be scored. The 3 lines are filled up. If you did not get through, feel free to run to our YouTube. We have a live stream going right now, 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. In those comments, you can leave your predictions. That'll be for bragging rights and the glory of being correct rather than a prize. But leave the player's name and a period. And if you win, we'll give you your props. If you get it right, we'll give you your props. Let's go to the official contestants. We have Patrick and Garner. Patrick, thank you for calling in. Who scores the first goal for the Whalers and in what period?
I'm going to go Aho in the first.
Aho in the first. What makes you confident that Fishy, Seabass, finds the back of the net?
I just feel like he's due for one.
All right. And do you want to, just for bragging rights, add any more details? Is it a power play? Is it a wrister? Like how do you see this one breaking down?
Power play.
All right. I like it. Short and to the point. Patrick, stay on the line. Dennis has to grab some info from you. Chad in Hillsboro is up next. Chad, thank you for calling in. Give us your Whalers first goal scorer predictions.
I'm going to say Jarvie in the first.
Jarvie in the first. Any more details you want to give us or any reasoning behind that?
I'm just hoping they can get one in the first and start playing well in the first.
You know what? That's the appropriate answer. Thanks, Chad. Stay on the line. Dennis has some info needs to grab. And finally, last official contestant, John in Selma. John, thank you for calling in. Give us your Whalers' first goal scorer prediction.
I'm going to go with Miko Ratman in the first period on the shorthanded goal.
You said Miko, first period, shorthanded is what you went with?
Yes, sir.
All right. We'll see if it pans out for you. Thank you for calling in.
I don't think Miko really kills penalties, but I'll take it,
I was thinking
though.
the same thing. I was like, hey, you know what? If he's out there, fire away. They've been changing up lines. Yesterday or last game, Rantanen was skating with Roslovic. So, they're changing things up. Maybe he's going to be out there killing penalties and grabbing a shorty. Appreciate everybody for calling in. We have who do we have there? We have Chad with Jarvie in the first. We have Patrick with Aho in the first on a power play goal. And we have John Miko, that's Miko Rantanen, in the first with a shorthanded goal. You know what? I like the confidence of everybody saying that they're all going to be in the first. It's been a while since I've been confident the Canes will score in the first period, but I like the confidence from our listeners on that one. Also, Aho, Jarvie, Rantanen, you can tell that the fan base is kind of leaning into the scorer's got to score, right? It's nice when Gostisbehere gets going from the blue line. It's nice when Roslovic scored a bunch early on or Robinson gets going. But in a moment like in a moment in their season, at the point the Canes are in right now, the Whalers are in right now, it does feel like you want your high-priced guys to score, right? It does feel like you want your core guys to kind of take it on them. Go take the shots, be aggressive, find the back of the net. If how they skated at morning skate pertains to how they're going to skate in tonight's game, the first line is going to be Aho, Rantanen, and Svech. That's
an NHL top line.
That feels like a power move from Rod. That feels like, all right, here we go, right? I'm throwing for those who play spades, I'm throwing like a king of spades early. I'm just asserting my power. Watch what I got. Some would say putting it on the table. Dennis, your first goal scorer prediction.
For the Whalers, Kevin Dineen. No, it's Gordie Howe.
Who is the Dineen of this team?
Dineen was the captain of the Whalers when they moved down here to Carolina, so that would be Jordan Stahl in that regard.
So is that what you're going for, or was that just a reference for the joke?
No, it was just a fun reference.
They're going to be wearing the Whalers jerseys, maybe.
Fun reference for the people.
Dineen doesn't exactly look like Stahl. They're a little different beasts. But anyway, keep going.
I'm probably going to go with the guy I said last time. Taylor Hall finally gets his first one. Gets it at home, finally gets that first goal. Because remember, I think if I remember correctly, when they were here in Carolina, that first game after their road trip when they made the trades, he got sick and didn't play.
Yep.
So they skated down a player in that game because Rod Brindamore didn't find out till like 4:30, 5 o'clock. Like, yeah, he's not feeling well. So give me Taylor Hall. Gets his first one in a home uniform in Raleigh.
It does.
I would say
like
Canes uniform, but that won't be tonight.
It does feel like you're gonna get the right first goal scorer prediction on Taylor Hall's first goal because you're just gonna keep picking it until he scores his first goal.
Exactly.
It's. I've been there in a gambling situation where I'm like, they have to do it. I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna have the winning ticket. My first goal scorer prediction. I'm actually doubling up with Chad. I have Jarvie in the first. I think laughter is required for this team, and I want Jarvie to go out there and bring all of the little brother energy that he has. I want him to be, playing for fun while also playing really, really good hockey. I think Jarvis in the first. Obviously this is true all the time, okay? But how refreshing would it be to be up 2-0 in the first 5 minutes?
Make it happen.
Just so everybody can exhale. First of all, the roof will be blown off the place because it's a high energy night on Whalers night, whether you like that they do it or not. It's a high energy night in the building. But just so everybody can go all right, now let's settle down, play hockey. I would like for it to be Seth Jarvis in the first, getting it done. If I'm being greedy, I just love shorthanded goals. So Seth with the shorty would be my ideal. If it doesn't end up being Miko with the shorty, which would be a wild prediction.
We have a couple predictions online. We have an Aho in the first, early in the first. A snipe from the face-off dot on the power play. That's from Travis.
Will not hear me complain about that.
Won't complain about that one either. D. Ely says Taylor Hall early in the first. I like that prediction, seeing as how it's the same as mine. But yeah, so we have a couple good predictions that have come in so far today. So keep them rolling in, folks. By the way, I know people might be listening that might have jumped in on the YouTube live stream at some different points. We had a little technical difficulty. We're all good to go, though.
So if you can
jump right back on.
If you were kicked off or lost it or whatever, that was on our end. We fixed it, and now you can go back there and make your predictions in the comment section. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube.
Had to unplug it, plug it back in.
Old N64. Just blowing the cartridge. There you go. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do have coming up next a little feedback frenzy, speaking of comments on the YouTube channel. But first, we have to hear from Dennis Cox.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, something I want to make sure you all are aware of. You have an awesome opportunity to have one of one. Something that is one of one. Like that rare. It's a custom Caniacs motorcycle. And you can have it. You just got to enter to win it. Just go to caniacsbike.com. It's pretty simple. That's how you can enter to win this custom beauty of a bike. It's custom built, custom painted with Cane's logos, colors, decals, you name it. Custom seat, everything. It is an absolutely gorgeous bike. And I say one of one because it's a custom build. It's built by Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson because Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson, Shiny Side Paint, the Law Tigers, and your Carolina Hurricanes, they've all teamed up once again to give a lucky fan a custom Caniacs motorcycle. Simple to enter. Just go to caniacsbike.com. You can gift it to somebody. Keep it for yourself. If you don't know how to ride a motorcycle, go to Tobacco Road Harley-Davidson. They have a riding academy that you can go sign up for, learn how to ride a motorcycle. I've taken that course, and sure enough, I ride a motorcycle with full confidence. I have one now, took the course, bought a motorcycle, absolutely enjoy riding. So if you're ever nervous about it, go do that, and then win this bike. But don't wait, folks. You have until April 6th to enter to win. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We hear some of your feedback, questions, concerns. Coming up next, it's something we call a feedback frenzy, and we react. Stick around.
Tonight's forecast calls for Hurricanes hockey.
Svechnikov, tick-tack, tied, in Carolina on the man advantage.
Storm Watch with Adam Gold at 6:30. Puck drop at 7.
Save made, rebound! Game over! Sebastian Aho gives Carolina a 4-3 win in overtime.
On your exclusive home for the Carolina Hurricanes, 99.9 The Fan.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Workdays can be unpredictable, but your workwear shouldn't be. With the Cintas Apparel Plus program, you'll have freshly laundered garments for everyone on your team delivered every week. Cintas has workwear for just about any job imaginable, with high-performance fabrics and an uncompromising fit that stretches and moves with you. Don't leave looking and feeling good to chance. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. This hour of The Drive brought to you by Enbridge Gas, formerly Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas. Dominion Energy North Carolina Gas customers are now proudly served by Enbridge Gas. Looking forward to a bright future together. To learn more, visit enbridgegas.com.
20 seconds left in the matching minors, which is 4-on-4. Now Svechnikov lets it go. They score! On the one-timer, Andrei Svechnikov has got Carolina within 2 with 5:14 left.
It would be lovely to hear some of that tonight. Whalers night for the Canes, hosting Buffalo. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. It is a hockey night in Carolina, although maybe we should say hockey night in Hartford tonight.
Don't tease them like that. They'll get offended.
Hartford, North Carolina, that is.
Oh.
At the Lenovo Center. It is Feedback Frenzy time, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. Feedback Frenzy, it's very simple. Dennis, who you know, our producer, peruses the internet. We're talking YouTube, comments, social media, all over the place. Looks for your reactions and feedback to our show and gives your comments a spotlight on the show, and then we react. So what are we reacting to today, Dennis?
Well, we actually had a first goal scorer prediction just come in over the commercial break. This one comes from Brandon R. Says Eric Robinson in the second.
That's our first second goal or second period goal prediction, which has been hitting more often than first goal recently.
Though Brandon
first period recently.
Brandon did say, though I'm hoping it's ranted into the first.
That's why I usually use my prediction as like a what I hope happens. Like I'm trying to put it in the universe. Miko in the first would be awesome.
Okay, so let's actually go into our conversation we had a couple days ago about UNC basketball hiring a general manager, Jim Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
So we had the conversation again about the extension of Hubert Davis and so on and so forth.
Mm-hmm.
This one actually comes from the Todd Father, 1969. Great name.
Well played.
Extending Hubert Davis will be a regrettable decision. That's
so
all he says.
The extension that already took place will be maybe. I mean, if you're not high on Hubert Davis as a coach, that's fine. The buyout is $6 million and change. So the extension didn't necessarily. If you don't want to be tied to him, you don't have to be tied to him, right? The coaching gigantic contracts that always make me go like, "Ooh, I think you're going to regret that," are the ones that come with massive buyouts, right? Like probably the best example is what Texas A&M gave Jimbo Fisher, where it was like, we're going to fire Jimbo and we got to give him $80 million on the way out. Like if you're UNC, $6 million and change, 6.2, whatever it is, should not deter you from doing what you think is best for the program. So the extension is kind of just par for the course. You want your coach to be under contract for 5 years, even if it's just kind of fake 5 years. So recruits can't say, "Oh, you're going to leave me before I graduate."
Well, this is actually something that Brandon Duke said. The extension is a non-story. Top programs don't want recruits to question who the coach will be. Plus, it occurred before the bad on-court struggles recently. Make no mistake, next season is do or die for Hubert.
I did see, and I apologize to whoever did this reporting because I don't remember and I don't want to fake cite it to someone else. I believe it was signed like the day they lost a game they shouldn't have lost. But it was agreed upon July 1st. So all of that happened a long time ago. It's just, I think the way, the timing that we learned about the extension is what's got everybody up in a twist, when in actuality it's just kind of par for the course.
All right, we had a conversation actually earlier in the show about NC State basketball losing to Syracuse yesterday, and basically all fingers pointing towards Kevin Keatts and the struggles that they had this season. This one comes from Billy Moss. Billy Moss 9855. At this point, it is hard to get behind Kevin Keatts with the necessary NIL money with his overall lack of success. And earlier I gave the comparison about what Wake Forest is doing this year, like that should be your minimum. And he said, I agree with the comparison of Wake Forest as a minimum of winning.
Here's my question. I'm, again, based on the season, criticism is warranted. Okay, it is a results-based business. If you don't win enough games, fans are going to criticize the coach. They're going to call for the jobs. That's just the nature of the beast. You know what it is when you choose your career. The take of, like, I forget the wording of it. They're not going to give the money to Kevin Keatts because they don't trust him, something along those lines.
It's hard to back him.
It's hard to back him. Who could they replace Kevin Keatts with that then all of a sudden NC State supporters are going to go, all right, here's my wallet, here's my credit card, here's the check. That's a really difficult question to answer. If you're not going to support Kevin Keatts and you didn't support him after he made a Final Four run, that's your prerogative. I'm not going to tell anybody what to do with their money. But is there a coach that would take the state job if you move on from Kevin Keatts that now when they knock on your door, you're going, hey, come on in, let me make you some lemonade. How much money do you need? Let me get you a cold glass of water. You want some tea? All right, yeah, let's talk numbers. How much do you need? If there's not a coach out there that'll do that, it's a moot point if you want to support Kevin Keatts or not. And if you say like, oh, I would love to have I don't know, like Nate Oates or let me get Scott Drew from Baylor. It's like those guys aren't gonna come to NC State. They're making way too much money where they are. It's
like, oh, and I don't have to compete against Duke.
Yeah, exactly. It's you're gonna have to support somebody. You're not winning in the ACC consistently with less than, I don't know, $5 or $6 million in NIL money. You can hate it. It's the way it is. You're not winning in the ACC in basketball with less than millions, like $3, $4, $5, $6 million to spend per year in NIL. If you don't have that and you're not going to support that, who the coach is doesn't matter as much because you're just going to have a severe overcome, like a gap you need to overcome in talent, which is even the best coaches struggle with that consistently.
All right, so we had a lot of conversation yesterday about what the Carolina Panthers, switching things over to football here, about what the Carolina Panthers have to do regarding their shopping list. Like, what's their shopping list for the NFL draft? There's actually a lot of people saying the Carolina Panthers should draft Kenneth Grant. A lot of people saying Kenneth Grant is the guy you got to go after. He's a big defensive tackle. This one comes from Chuck Lee 2507. The smartest move the Panthers can make on day one of the draft is to trade down to the draft if possible and take Kenneth Grant, the defensive tackle.
Kenneth Grant.
But there's a few people that are clamoring for it.
Kenneth Grant's interesting for one reason. He played alongside Mason Graham.
Yes.
Mason Graham, they both played at Michigan, is seen as one of the best players in the draft. It's hard to judge. I'm not going to say you're wrong about Kenneth Grant. I'm saying you need a very, very confident defensive mind. I don't know, like maybe someone that had like 20 tackles in a Super Bowl. That's Dan Morgan. To watch a ton of Michigan film and decide how much he benefited from playing opposite of Mason Graham. Right? If you're a defensive tackle and you know darn near 100% of the time, the center is going to shade towards the other defensive tackle, and you're going to be one-on-one with a guard and have a little space, you better darn sure be effective, and you don't have to be a great NFL player to do that. So that's my only concern there. He's a big dude, though. I'm just looking at his combine right now thus far. I don't think he's run yet, but he's 6'4", 331. That's a big boy.
Yeah.
It's a big boy.
That's a big dude. Someone actually said, this one comes from Eternal252, said, draft Kenneth Grant, draft Mason Graham, draft Mike Green, draft Jalen Walker. I say, hey, you know what? If you can get all these guys that can go in the top 15, 20 of the draft, by all means, make it happen.
NFL's copycat league. What have the Eagles done? The Eagles on defense have essentially looked for who's played for national championships and just drafted a bunch of those guys on defense. You look at their defense, it's like half guys that have won national championships at either Georgia or Alabama. Michigan's defense 2 years ago that won the national championship was unbelievable. If you walk away with a bunch of guys that have won national championships, I think that's a good formula. I think if you get a bunch of guys from this year's Ohio State team, last year's Michigan team, the Georgia and Alabama teams that have won in the past, I don't think you're going to hate yourself when you look back at the defense you accumulate. So that's not a bad idea.
All right, last couple things here. This one comes from our YouTube live chat. We have 2 more submissions for first Canes goal scorer of the evening. Clinton says Aho in the first. Isaiah says Kokiniemi in the second. Power play goal 5 minutes into the second period.
Kokiniemi on the power play, which means the first power play isn't getting it done.
Or they were just tired.
Yeah. Here's my hope. Rod Brindamore is doing what so many of us have asked him to do, which is taking the first line, treating it like a first line.
Stacking it.
Aho, Rantanen, Svech. I want those guys to have it. But we did the math earlier. It's a $28 million line this year. And if Rantanen ends up being a $14 million player, which everybody expects he'll get this offseason, it's a $32 million line. That's where if you put all that on one line, you better get something out of them. You better get something out of them. And obviously all 3 of them plus Jarvis and I believe Gostisbehere for today will be power play 1.
Yep.
They get power plays. I don't want to get into power play 2. I want the money to perform. No pressure, though. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. I'm big on them playing with no pressure, even though I completely understand that there's probably pressure. That's a little feedback frenzy. I always enjoy doing that. Thank you to everybody that interacts with us in the online space. We have the Starting 5 coming up next. It's brought to you by Richie Law, RichieLaw.com. Stick around. Starting 5 next.
Move your sports day forward.
You know, the need for John Shire's Duke Blue Devils team to roll white hot into the ACC tournament and blow through the bracket is clearly evident. The selection committee is only putting in 4 teams and suggesting Duke might not even be a number 1 seed. I'm not sure what more they can do at this point to grab respect. I suppose juggle flaming swords?
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Welcome home. Your home is more than just walls and windows. It's where your story unfolds. At Baker Home Exteriors, we understand that every detail helps write that story. For over a century, our parent company, Baker Roofing, has set the standard for excellence, and now we're bringing that same dedication to your home. From roofing and siding to windows, gutters, and more, our craftsmen transform houses into the sanctuaries you've always imagined. Visit BakerHomeExteriors.com to begin your home's next chapter.
If Heineken Silver was a 60-second radio ad, it'd tell you all the stuff you need to know in only 30 seconds to keep things light and refreshing. Seriously, time me. Heineken Silver, a world-class light beer that's surprisingly crisp and refreshing. Made with only premium quality ingredients and just 2.9 grams of carbs and 95 calories. All without compromising on taste. Heineken Silver. Order now at Heineken.com/silver. Must be 21 and older to purchase. Enjoy Heineken responsibly. Whew. 30 seconds. That's it. Done. Peace.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything! The Capital One Saver Card is at table 27 and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu!
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver Card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
When you're hiring, Have you ever felt like you're missing out on meeting great candidates? Well, they're not hard to find when you go to ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day. People who are actively looking for jobs like yours. So it's easy to find the right person fast. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. It's a warm and breezy afternoon. A cold front swings through this evening, so some showers and some isolated storms through the evening commute. Then clearing skies overnight tonight will drop down to 42. Sunshine on Friday with a high of 62.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones at the closing bell down 193 points to 43,239.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting 5.
The starting 5 is brought to you by Ritchie Law. Injured? Ritchie Law's on top of it. RitchieLaw.com. That's Ritchie, RICCI, law.com. Starting 5 every day here at 5 o'clock. Always starts the same way, and that's with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Cooper up top. Proctor. How about a 3? Bang! And just like that, it's a 22-point lead. 61-39 with 16:30 to go, and Proctor's got 20.
Good news for the Duke Blue Devils. Tyrese Proctor, the knee injury that he suffered against Miami, what was that, Tuesday night? Held him out the rest of the game, did not play in the second half. There was imaging, there was x-rays done yesterday. Last night, the news trickled out. A bone bruise. Now, that doesn't mean he's scrimmaging 5-on-5 today and he's going to play on Saturday, but it does mean he will be expected back for the most important games of the year, the ACC Tournament and the NCAA Tournament, which is about as good as you could hope for.
Bone bruises are painful. As someone who's been dealing with a bone bruise in his heel for the last 6 months, or not 6 months, 6-7 weeks, bone bruises take a little bit of time to heal. But again, it's a pain tolerance thing.
And I assume you don't have the full Duke basketball training staff helping you rehab?
I don't. I mean, I'm still able to play men's league hockey. Shout out to our 1-0 win last night. But I don't jump like he does.
True. It's just like it was one of those deals where he jumped and landed and immediately no weight on the knee, grabbing the knee. And in any sport, when you see that, no, right? I don't care who it is, team you like, team you don't like, you never want to see that to a young athlete. And then bone bruise when, ligaments are a possibility, breaks are a possibility, fractures are a possibility, all these things. It ends up being a bone bruise. It's about as good as you could hope for. So you knew it was something. It's not the super, super terrifying versions of what it could be.
So, yes, no tear of anything, so no soft tissue issue or anything along those lines, which is, again, best thing you can ask for.
And in the meantime, while he is out, develop some depth, right? Have some other guys initiate the offense, and maybe you'll be better for it. That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
I feel great about playing football right now.
There you go. Little Dave Canales to get you started thinking football. NFL Combine started today. The big boys, defensive linemen, linebackers, testing today. They're out there running their short shuttles, their 40s, the verts. I have thoughts. Okay, first of all, this is where the propaganda begins. You're going to start hearing of guys who are great players. All of their warts are going to be brought to the surface. Why? Because teams in the NFL want these players to fall to their pick. If I am the Panthers, I am doing everything I can to make the top 3 picks, top 4 picks, top 5 picks, try to fall to number 8, right? So if Mason Graham, who's an unbelievable defensive tackle from Michigan, projected to be a top 5 pick, I don't know, let's say, because this is exactly what happened, he measured in at 6'3" and 296 pounds with 32-inch arms, which you may go, that sounds like a big person.
It is.
When it comes to the combine, though, his height, 59th percentile amongst defensive tackles. Weight, 26th percentile amongst defensive tackles.
So light.
Arm length, 12th percentile amongst defensive tackles.
Okay.
I mean, part of me thinks that the good football player has played good football at a high level of college football for years, and he's been a good football player at every step. I tend to believe he's a good football player. But if I can convince somebody drafting ahead of me not to draft the good football player by going, look at the short arms, T-Rex out there, maybe, right? Abdul Carter, who many have as the number 1 prospect in the draft, apparently has a stress reaction is what they're calling it. Here's the timeline. Yeah, Adam Schefter yesterday on Abdul Carter. This is a tweet from Schefter yesterday. Test today revealed that potential number 1 pick Abdul Carter has a stress reaction in his right foot, and the Penn State standout will need to decide soon whether to have surgery, sources told ESPN.
Okay.
Today, Schefter updated another tweet. Doctors told Penn State defensive end and projected number 1 pick Abdul Carter that after further scans on his right foot, surgery is not advisable. He will work out at his March 28th pro day at Penn State.
So we're all good.
Except maybe there's that hint of doubt in one of those high draft picks that maybe he falls. The other thing, and this will be my last point on the combine right now until we start getting more hard and fast results that we can react to. Keep in mind, players train for this.
Mm-hmm.
That would be my number 1 evaluation. Because do I care if my 330-pound defensive tackle runs a fast 40-yard dash or not?
No.
I don't. But do you know what I do care about? Does it look like he prepared? Right? Does it look like he cares? Does it look like he showed up wanting to compete? Shamar Stewart, okay, is from South Carolina. He is a freak athlete. He's an edge rusher that actually has not been super productive at South Carolina. But he is going to be big, tall, strong, and fast, and he's going to light up the combine, and his athletic cumulative score is going to be through the roof. He was listed at South Carolina at 290 pounds. Showed up to the Senior Bowl at 281.
Okay.
Showed up to the combine 267.
Wow.
He's trying to run fast.
He's shut down.
That's what that tells me, is this dude is trying to be explosive. And then sure enough, so far he hasn't run his 40 yet, but he vertical jumped 40 inches.
That's tall.
To put that in comparison, Donovan Ezeraku, who we know from the ACC, Boston College guy, going to be probably a late first, early second is what he's being mocked at.
Yeah.
35. James Pierce Jr., Tennessee, guy from North Carolina.
Charlotte.
At one point projected to be like top 10 pick. Now he's kind of sliding in middle of the first. 31 inches. All the same position. I don't really care how high they jump. But I do like that somebody if you're going to do the combine, right? Are you going to be the player that shows up most prepared on game day, right? Because combine feels like a game day. I don't want you learning how to do a track start from someone else in line when you're waiting for your 40-yard dash, right? I want you to put some effort into it. Other than that, very few things do I take away from this mattering. Like running back 40 times matter. Quarterback ability to throw when they get to the on-field portions matter a little bit. I just don't care how high my defensive linemen can jump. But I care that they prepare. Any crazy things going on at the combine yet? Not really. I will say shout out to the ACC. As of right now, amongst defensive tackles, the fastest 10-yard split, Jared Harrison Hunt, SMU. ACC, baby. Fastest get-off in the game.
Let's go.
Granted, there's still a bunch of defensive tackles that I have to test. And
doesn't matter. We're first.
SMU, baby. Claiming them. ACC. That was number, 2? Let's get to number 1.
That was 4.
That was 4. Let's get to number 3.
got to have heart.
Can you elaborate on that?
Miles and miles of heart.
It's always great when you give a big speech about preparation and knowing what you're doing, and then you immediately go into just a mental error. That's what I do. That voice you just heard, Jimmy McGinty, the character played by Gene Hackman in The Replacements. Gene Hackman passed away. News breaking kind of over the last 24 hours. The details of the actual passing are, I don't know, still being investigated, so I'm not going to go there. But what I am going to say is Gene Hackman, as far as, obviously, thoughts and support go out to his family, his community, and all of those things. Anytime someone passed away, his wife also passed away, his dog passed away, all at once. Like I said, the details are being investigated. But we pass along support to all of that. That's sports movie range right there. To be both Norman Dale, the coach from Hoosiers, and Jimmy McGinty, the coach from The Replacements. That's about as much range as you can show in coaching in sports movies. Hoosiers, overly self-important, right? It's like a movie. It's a film. It's cinema, right? It brings a tear to your eye. Jimmy Chitwood. And then The Replacements, the movie where one of the team building scenes is everybody kind of uniformly throwing up in the huddle. Like, it is as popcorn a sports movie as it gets, and he's in both. I'm a big Gene Hackman fan. His entire kind of filmography, discography, whatever you call it. He's just if for some reason I remember this from like 10, 15 years ago. I remember it was Colin Cowherd back when he was on ESPN, so probably longer ago than 10, 15 years ago. And he said Greg Kinnear. He's like, it's just the person that if I see Greg Kinnear in a movie, I'm like, this is going to be a good movie. I don't know if it's going to be great. I don't know if it's going to be serious, funny. I just know Greg Kinnear's in it. It's going to be a good movie. And I tend to judge my actors ever since I heard that random thing from Colin Cowherd a billion years ago. I tend to judge my actors the same way. Like, if I see they're on a poster and I know nothing about the movie, how confident am I that it's going to be a good movie? When Gene Hackman is on the poster, I'm like, it's probably going to be a good movie. I don't know if it's going to be electric slide in the end zone with a sumo wrestler and Keanu Reeves, or if it's going to be like emotional Dennis Hopper overcoming alcoholism to help a high school basketball team seriousness like Hoosiers, or any of the others. Just a big Gene Hackman fan.
Or he plays the supervillain like Lex Luthor.
He's
Superman.
He's done a little bit of everything. Westerns. He's done westerns. He's done whodunits. He's done a little bit of everything. So he's, for my money, the GOAT in sports movies is Kevin Costner. I think there's a gap between he and everyone else. Granted, it's a small entry, only 2 movies. Like, Hackman's close. Mm-hmm. He's there in that next tier. Maybe not number 2, but he's up there. He's top 5 for sure. That's number 3. Haha. Let's get to number 2.
Parker half court off a style screen, touches left for pass, kicks it back up top. Parker, he steps into a deep one and rhythm in Kansas. Top of the arc for Trey Parker.
NC State lost last night to Syracuse. Should I try to sugarcoat it?
I don't think you can.
It's an awful loss.
It's a terrible loss.
Awful loss, which becomes the exclamation point on an awful season. And it's here's the issue. We could focus in on that game, and we'll do so for a minute. What did we say? Like, everybody said about that game, it's must win. It's must win. Syracuse, NC State, 2 teams that were on the bubble of the ACC tournament. It's a must win. So going into that game, when everybody is aware it's a must win game, you expect like Rocky versus Apollo Creed, right? You expect physical. You expect diving for every loose ball. You expect both teams to limp to the finish because they left it all on the court. I just didn't see that, which is more concerning even than the loss, right? There's something to be said for you ran into a team that played better than you on that day. and you can tip your cap and say, I did everything I could, you beat me. I don't think State can do that. And matter of fact, I know they can't, because after the game, Kevin Keats talked about Syracuse bullying them. This is what it sounded like.
We could not make a shot, and obviously we got off to a really terrible start because our shots weren't falling. But at the end of the day, the game comes down to toughness. I just thought they were completely tougher than us. When you look at it, you look at Davis, you look at Lampkin, they really just bullied us. The numbers that they have are 15-7 and 14 points and 15 rebounds. We gave up 46 points in the paint.
At the end of the day, it came down to toughness. Dennis, you've been a college coach. I've heard this from multiple coaches that when they go out for the handshake, right after the game, the head coaches go meet each other, and this goes for every sport. That the thing they're most proud of when the other coach, right, they say the two compliments, one sentence to each, right? Like, hey, great team, your coach really shot the heck out of it, or hey, you guys really gave it to us today. Whatever it is. They want the opposing team to go, y'all are physical as hell, right? They want the opposing team's coach to go, hey, great game, coach. You guys, man, you're a tough bunch. Like, that's what coaches get most excited about. If you say the game came down to toughness and you lost the game, what does that say about your team? It means you weren't the tougher bunch. You weren't the more physical. You didn't bring the fight to them. It means all of these negative things. All of them. Those are bad things.
Yeah, not good things. Sometimes you might tell a coach if you're in that situation, like, hey, you know what, you guys, really kicked our tonight.
Exactly.
And I've told a coach that, hey, look, you guys took it to us today. But props to you.
But to me, that would be like, you got to be honest with the other coach, right? Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you lied, but that would hurt me the most when I go up for the handshake and I go, hey, you beat the heck out of us today. That would hurt me the most to have to say it. I would much rather go, hey, you guys shot the lights out. Great win. Right? Hey, your team, you got out and ran. Whatever it is. I don't want it to come down to toughness, and you were more tough than us, especially in a game where our backs were against the wall. And tell me that's not a microcosm of the entire season for State. Remember at the beginning of their season, right? They had won a bunch of games against mid-majors, and they had lost their games in the big non-conference games, but they hit ACC play, and they were just losing close games over and over and over again. And it just was – the microcosm is when it came down to fighting time, where the clock was winding down and everybody knew then one of these plays is going to make the game. They didn't have the answer. That's got to be frustrating. And last night, it's frustrating as anything else. Frustrating as anything else.
Now, if you do want to put the little sugar coat on it,
okay,
there is still an outside chance they could make the ACC tournament.
Mathematically not eliminated.
Mathematically not eliminated.
I'm eliminating them.
I think everyone is.
Mathematically, they're not. If things break their way and they win out, they have a chance. But I can't see them doing it.
Oh, I don't either.
Last year, remember last year they were 11th in the ACC.
10 seed, I think.
10 seed, okay.
Yeah.
Double-digit seed in the ACC tournament. And I vividly remember saying, all the way up until the tournament, hey, if they put it together, they could shock some people. Now, did I expect them to do what they did? Heck no. But I thought they could play their way into the semifinals of the ACC tournament or something, because they still had the structure of it. I don't feel the same way this year. I do not feel the same way this year. Now, that was number 2. Let's get to number 1.
Go on!
No. You promised me breakfast.
Breakfast? Breakfast schmeckfast. Look at the score. I'm only in the middle of the second and I'm winning 12-2. Breakfast come and go, Renee. Now Hartford, the Whale. Hey, they only beat Vancouver once, maybe twice in a lifetime.
Whalers hosting Buffalo tonight at the Lenovo Center. It's Whalers night for the Carolina Hurricanes. The story for the Canes. And by the way, I at the beginning of the show did a whole thing about how I think the Canes are overthinking. I think there's a little too much pressure that they're putting on themselves right now. That's a team-wide thing, right? And it goes into so many other facets of the organization. If we zoom in on it, the story, until it's not the story anymore, and that's a weird way to say it, is Mikko Rantanen, right? Mikko Rantanen, after that trade, the expectations were sky high, the 100-point scorer, all of these things, and he hasn't done it yet. And until he does, it's going to be one of the first things Rod Brindamore's asked about in post-game, one of the first things he's asked about in all of his media availabilities, one of the first things Aho's asked about, Stahl's asked about, Martinook's asked about, and over the last week, 2 weeks, we have quotes from darn near everyone on integrating new guys into what the Canes want to do or changing what the Canes want to do to accommodate the new guys. Good hockey players will play good hockey at some point. The sooner it happens for the Canes, the sooner those questions will stop and they can move on. Do you know what it feels a bit like? Have you? And I don't even know if this actually happens, but it's one of those deals that seems like it's 100%. In Major League Baseball, when a guy's sitting on like 2,999 hits, I don't care if they hit 340 that season. It's going to take them like 2 games to get number 3,000, right? Because it's just like everybody's waiting for it. Everybody's holding their breath. Every time Mikko Rantanen gets the puck and it's in like a scoring position, everyone's like, ah! You just need, and then usually once that baseball player hits number 3,000, that game they go like 4 for 4 and they leave with 3,003 hits, right? It's like, all right, the seal was broken. I'm hoping that's what's going to happen with Mikko. Rod Brindamore talked about Mikko's constant state of adjusting, which has to be included in maybe reasoning or excuses, depending on which way you look at it, reasoning for why Mikko hasn't lit up the production table yet.
It's been a tough stretch for him, just going through all that, and then just the way the schedule has been, and, you know, it's just kind of feel like there's one thing after another, no real consistent, you know, just normalcy with the routine. So hopefully now maybe he can start having a little more of that for him and get a little more consistent with you know, who he's playing with and have some chemistry there.
A little more consistent as far as who he's playing with? Dennis, how many consecutive games have we had the lines shuffled up here? At least every game since the Four Nations Cup has had different lines.
Yeah. This is third game since.
And before that, there were the flu things going around, so I assume they're being...
You had to shuffle.
You know, in it, we're out of the coaching staff's control. I don't know if Mikko Rantanen has skated with the same center and opposite winger like 3 consecutive games yet.
No, barely even back-to-back games, I don't think.
That's going to be tough to get into, especially because he skated with the same 3 guys for like 5 years in Colorado.
Just about.
It's a tough deal he's going through.
So yeah, they're on the road in Boston. The Colorado Avalanche are. He gets traded to Carolina. Guys are in and out sick, so it's new team while being on the road. Gets to Carolina for a couple days. Guys are sick in and out. He actually gets hurt himself, misses a game. Goes in the Four Nations and plays. As soon as the Canes are back playing, they're back on the road once again. So, yeah, this guy it's been nothing but on the road, go, 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 constant change. Whereas we all know athletes are creatures of habit. He hasn't had a chance to establish any sort of habit in Raleigh. He just hasn't yet.
And the same is true opposite. The players he's skating with haven't developed the instinctual knowledge of where Mikko's going to be or what he likes to do. And Rod Brindamore addressed it from that perspective as well, talking with the media about how sometimes teams can like over defer to new players, is what Rod said.
It's an adjustment for everyone, and I think when you bring in the big names like that, there is a tendency to just kind of, you know, sit back and watch, try to let them do things, and on the flip side too, that they try to do too much too. So I think that's all kind of starting to, you know, settle in now, and you know, like I said, we got to start winning games though.
There was a Martinook quote that we read earlier in the show that led into that conversation with Rod Brindamore. Do you know what might be happening? And that kind of like teams over deferring, and then the new players over deferring back. You could here's a theory for you, Dennis. You know how I like to name my theories.
That you do.
We'll call it the door holding dilemma. You ever been in this one?
Oh no, you go. No, I got you. No, you go ahead.
Exactly. You're
holding.
You're
you
holding.
go ahead.
Yeah, you. No, after no. Age before beauty. Start making jokes. Hey, no. You first, big dog. It's like Could that be going on where Miko's going like, hey, I want to play Canes hockey, and they're going like, oh no, we're gonna play Miko hockey. No, after you, and then before you know it, there's 7. You've been standing outside in the rain, nobody going through the door for 7 minutes, and it's like, just go through, dude.
Yeah, just walk, go.
You're giving the wave along at the 4-way stop in the car. Go, no, you go, and then your cars are now inching forward. Just go. One of you. Just go. Think Miko, big game tonight? Prediction, not with your brain, not your heart. Because everyone's heart is going to say, massive, 4 points, 2 goals.
Right?
Power play, all of it.
I think
we had the one first goal scorer prediction listener who said shorthanded goal. I don't even know why he's out there killing penalties. Give it to him.
Make it happen. I think he gets on the stat sheet tonight. I think he gets a point.
Okay.
I think he gets a point tonight in some way. But like an important one, not just a secondary assist where like I chipped the puck out of the zone and, one of those type deals. But no, this is going to be he makes like the extra pass like we saw him make one to Andrei Svechnikov in like one of those early games. Like, that's the high-end skill. It's going to be something along those lines.
I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
I'm excited to see that first line. Aho, Rantanen, Svech.
Mm-hmm.
What is the minimum number of points from that group, total assists and goals for all 3 of them, that make you go, okay, success for that group. Good job.
I think they need to combine for...
Because obviously, like, 1 goal could be 3 points for those guys.
It could be. I think between the 3 of those guys, they need to have 4 points tonight.
I'm fine with that. Set the over-under 3.5.
Yeah, 3.5.
You hit the over, we give you a thumbs up.
I think on that quality of line against this opponent, 4 points tonight. So it could be...
Could be 2 for Rantanen, 2 for Svech, and Aho goes nunzo.
Or something along those lines.
However you get there. Could be 4 for Rantanen, none for the other guys. I don't know how that would happen. I don't know how that would happen with them all skating together.
All breakaways.
Yeah, just all unassisted.
But that'd be a big night tonight. If they got 3 points tonight, I wouldn't complain. Combined between the 3 of those guys, if they had 3 points, I'm not going to complain.
So that's what it is for you. 3 is neutral.
Yeah.
4 or more, thumbs up. 2 or less, thumbs down.
Depends on how those 2 points look.
Yeah, unless it's a 1-0 win and it was an overtime beauty. Anyway, the Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We do need numbers game contestants, but first, Dennis has something for you.
Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Lone Pronto. Folks, what could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Lone Pronto. Lone Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Lone Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We need numbers game contestants. This is our second to last day. We have tickets for today and tomorrow going to the numbers game contestants, the numbers game winner. Luke Bryan tickets, Coastal Credit Union Music Park in June. That's June 7th. If you want to win the Luke Bryan tickets, you have to win the numbers game today or tomorrow. The number to call in, 919-860-5326. That's 919-860-5326. 2-6. If you want to play the numbers game, call in now. It's coming up next.
Caniacs, get ready for Iced Tea, a brand new podcast that gives you the behind-the-scenes stories from the Carolina Hurricanes. You watch the game back?
Yeah, all the time.
And are you hard on yourself?
Oh, God, yeah.
Any of the players ask for their crust off?
We do have one player that I cut the crust off, and I individually wrap it for him.
Your name is on the Stanley Cup.
It's the best trophy in sports.
Follow Iced Tea with Megan LaMontagne in any podcast app or watch the show on YouTube.
When it comes to great deals on tax prep, Jackson Hewitt isn't holding back, and neither is this commercial. Their offer is so big, it has to be said with Reverb. Expert tax prep for $149 or less. It's a deal so spectacular, it needs a symphony, some explosions, and a clock ticking, because this offer, $149 or less. And soon, one expert tax prep for $149 or less. Try Jackson Hewitt today and save. Whew. Limited time offer for new clients on federal returns. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com/149.
A few contest rules from sports radio stations The Fan, The Buzz. No purchase necessary. 21 to enter and play. Limited to one entry per person and one prize winner per family or household per contest every 30 days. Employees of Capital Broadcasting, its agencies, sponsors, subsidiaries, other broadcast companies, and immediate families of the above are ineligible to play. Winners are verified, complete documentation, and are responsible for all taxes and prizes received. All prizes are non-transferable and cannot be redeemed for cash. Winners give sports radio the right to publicize his or her name, likeness, or voice. Sports may change contest rules and prizes at any time and holds no liability for canceled or postponed events. Complete info of sports radio contests available at WRALSportsFan.com or during normal business hours at 3100 Highwoods Boulevard in Raleigh.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
At Planet Fitness, we're declaring it. This is the year of getting stronger. And future stronger you can get started now by saving $28 or more when you join today. You in? We have all the best-in-class equipment you could ever need to keep stepping it up. And free fitness training to help you mix up your routine. Plus, most clubs are open 24 hours. So let's do this. Join Planet Fitness today and save $28 or more. Just $1 down, $15 a month, cancel anytime. Deal ends February 28th. See Home Club for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. It is time to play the numbers game. We have Luke Bryan tickets going to the winner. He's coming to Coastal Credit Union Music Park on June 7th. We have a pair of tickets going to either James in Morrisville or Robbie in Clayton. We'll find out by way of numbers battles. James, you'll go first. You have to answer a question. Dennis will pick his favorite answer. That person will get to go first. Are you ready to answer a question, James in Morrisville?
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
All right. The question is, in honor of Gene Hackman passing away, who is both the legendary Norman Dale coach from Hoosiers and the legendary Jimmy McGinty, the coach from the Replacements, who is the greatest fictional sports coach of all time? So don't give us like Herb Brooks from Miracle, because that's a real person. It has to be a completely fictional coach who is the best of all time. You can just describe them. You don't need to necessarily know their name. You can say the coach from this movie.
Well, Remember the Titans was based on a true story, right?
It is.
Correct.
So I can't say Denzel Washington.
Correct.
Oh man.
Actually, I just realized how difficult I made this question by eliminating, because that's Coach Carter, that's Remember the Titans, that's Herb Brooks. There's a lot that are based on true stories.
Favorite sports movie.
Favorite sports movie. We'll wheel it back. I made it too difficult.
Favorite sports movie? Yeah, it probably is. It's Remember the Titans.
All right, Remember the Titans locked in for James in Morrisville. Robbie and Clayton, I'll give you the option to answer either. You can say your favorite fictional coach, or you can just say your favorite sports movie, and then I'm going to make Dennis have the hard decision of picking out of different questions which answer he likes better.
I'll go coach Emilio Estevez, Mighty Ducks, the way he got those kids together. Yep.
Gordon Bombay. That is a solid answer there. Dennis, which one are you going with? Remember the Titans or Gordon Bombay?
Well, the correct answer is Phil Weston, which is Will Ferrell in Kicking and Screaming, is the correct answer.
I like Give Him the Heater, Ricky.
Yes.
From Major League.
Yeah, Lou Brown from Major League. Also a good one. I'm actually really torn on this one. Mighty Ducks is a movie that I grew up watching, being a 90s kid, true 90s kid. But I actually have a personal connection to Remember the Titans.
I've not heard
My
this.
father is a graduate of T.C. Williams High School in Alexandria. He was actually a sophomore when that year was based. That movie was based. Yes.
Was he on the team?
He was not.
Oh, okay.
He was not on the team.
I was like, was your dad Gary Bertier?
No, he was not.
Ray? Were you Ryan Gosling's kid?
Yes, I was.
That's
No, I'm
not
kidding.
Ray. That's Alan. Sorry,
That's Alan.
Ray's the jerk.
So yeah, Ray's the tight end. So this is actually a really difficult one for me. I don't know. The nostalgia. Give me Mighty Ducks.
All right,
give me Mighty Ducks. This was not easy.
Shout out to your dad though. I didn't know that. Well, I'll have to ask questions.
I was born in Alexandria.
I once had a producer for one of my shows. After this is in a previous market. We had worked together for like a year, maybe 6 months. He then dropped on me that his dad was Jim Craig's college roommate.
What?
And I'm what?
Save that story.
Yes.
Save that story.
One of the more wild things. I was like, what is going on here? Anyway, so I forget who gave which answer now. Robbie won, right? Robbie and Clayton, you get to go first. James and Morrisville, stay on the line. You'll have your chance. Robbie, are you ready to pick a category?
All right, ready.
All right. The categories are NFL players whose first names start with the letter A, NFL players whose first names start with the letter D, NBA all-hyphen team. Everybody in this list has a hyphen in their name somewhere, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's go NFL players who start with D.
All right, these are all players whose first names start with the letter D. I will give you the team and the player. Give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if you need it. Any questions before we get started?
Nope.
All right, your time will start when you hear the horn. Deion Sanders, Dallas Cowboys.
21.
Correct. Devontae Adams, New York Jets.
17.
Correct. Derek Carr, New Orleans Saints.
4.
Correct. Donald Driver, Green Bay Packers.
80.
Correct. Dwight Freeney, Indianapolis Colts.
90.
Incorrect. Dwight Freeney, Indianapolis Colts.
97.
Incorrect. Dwight Freeney, Indianapolis Colts.
99.
Incorrect. Dwight Freeney, Indianapolis Colts.
93.
Yeah!
Oh, gosh.
24 and a half seconds.
24 and a half. How nerve-wracking was that once you realized that you knew you needed Dwight Freeney and you were kind of throwing darts?
Well, I knew it was in the 90s, so I just hoped I had enough time.
Most of the time when we see people hit, like, they know it's in the 90s, they tend to go, like, 97, 96, 95, 90. You were sprinkling. You were down, up. Oh, it was hard to know where you were going to end up. But you did get it correct. Did take it 24 and a half seconds. I don't want to scare you, but we did have somebody post a better perfect score than that and then lose when the next person went faster. So it's not a guaranteed win for you. Stay on the line. We'll see if it holds up. James in Morrisville, are you ready to go?
That was a good run. I don't know if I'm really ready, but we'll try it.
All right. Confidence. Think positive thoughts. The categories that you get to choose from are NFL players whose first names start with the letter A, NBA all-hyphen team, players with hyphens in their name, or NHL Hurricanes only.
Give me the other NFL one with the A.
All right. These are all players whose first names start with the letter A. I will give you the team and the player. You give me the jersey number as quickly as you can. 30 seconds on the clock. One pass if we need it. You need all five to win. Any questions before we get started?
No, sir.
All right. Your time will start when you hear the horn. Alvin Kamara, New Orleans Saints.
41.
Correct. Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings.
21.
Incorrect. Andre Johnson, Houston Texans.
80.
Correct. Andy Dalton, Carolina Panthers.
14.
Correct. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit Lions.
14.
Correct. Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings.
28.
Incorrect. Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings.
27.
Incorrect. Aaron Jones, Minnesota Vikings. 33. We were looking for 33.
Oh, man.
That is another brutal beat, though. 4. It's usually good enough to win. You weren't confident going in. I could hear the trepidation in your voice, but that was an excellent showing. Hopefully you had some fun, even though you didn't get the win.
Yeah, man.
Appreciate it. Go ahead and try again another day. That means Robbie is the winner, though. Robbie, congratulations. You've earned the Luke Bryan tickets.
All right, let's go. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for playing and a perfect score. That's always something extra to celebrate. Go ahead and stay on the line. Dennis has to grab some info from you.
Awesome.
There you go.
Usually 4 is a lock.
4,
usually.
Like if most contestants in the numbers game, I think if right at the beginning I said, you can play or I can give you 4 right now, I think they would take the 4. It's usually a pretty good, like, high chance of winning. Sometimes you just run into a buzzsaw. Like the contestant earlier this week that went,
I think it was Adam.
That went 21-second perfect score only to get one upped by 14.5-second perfect score.
It's like I got beat by the record.
Yeah, what are you going to do? It's like I told Dennis this. I use this analogy where it's like when you're in the 8th lane of the 100-meter dash final at the Olympics and you lose by like 5 yards and it looks like you're slow. No, I'm the fastest person any of you know, right? I'm the fastest person in all of your hometowns. I'm the fastest person in so many countries. I just look slow next to that guy because he's the gold medalist. Yeah, sometimes that happens. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We look towards a little bracketology. Wake Forest lost. What does that do for the ACC? NC State lost. Their bracket, they don't even make the ACC tournament, if you ask me. And there's a special feat that the women in the triangle for the ACC may be able to pull off. But before we get to any of that, here's Dennis Cox.
Hey, Dennis Cox here for ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Folks, college basketball is in full gear right now, and fans are ready to see which teams will prove they are ready to shine in March and who will be seen in San Antonio. You can get in on all the action from tip-off to the final whistle at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new ESPN Bet Sportsbook customers can bet $10 to get $100 in bonus bets and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the app and sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We'll be back with bracketology coming up.
Listen for that. Did he just do that?
Johnson trying to step back for a 3. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damask from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The get that out of here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports leader.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection. One that helps better their everyday through the things they value most. Friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
The legacy continues. Pantera. The heaviest tour of the summer. Tearing up Coastal Credit Union Music Park, Raleigh, September 11th. With Amon Amarth. On sale Friday at LiveNation.com. Part of the Mattress Warehouse concert series. Presented by Live Nation.
As of 9 a.m. this morning, our EV trucking company is officially in operation.
Andrew's zero-emission trucks are driving the transportation category forward.
We'll make driving safer, easier, and less stressful. Now our technology needs to keep up with demand.
He needs to put pedal to the metal on hiring more software engineers.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, let's talk ED because millions of men experience it, but not everyone can access or afford treatments like Viagra. Hims can help. Through Hims.com, you can access a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. To start your free online visit and save up to 95%, go to Hims.com/joy. HIMS.com/JOY.
Bonuses used to be everywhere. Boxes of cereal, a baker's dozen, airline upgrades, even without quadruple diamond platinum status. Life is better with the bonus. That's why the North Carolina Education Lottery is adding bonus chances to multiply your win on Multiply the Cash scratch-offs. More chances than ever to win over $140 million in total prizes. Because everything is better with a bonus. Must be 18 to play. Approximate overall odds of winning range from 1 in 3.31 to 4.86. Problem gambling helpline 877-718-5543.
Little Club Lenovo music. Lenovo Center, host of the Whalers Night tonight. Shamar Stewart, edge rusher, out of Texas A&M. I think I was saying he was out of South Carolina earlier today.
The other SEC school.
I was getting him confused with the safety from South Carolina that's supposed to light up the combine. Stewart, 4'6". He's supposed to be, the monster. He's 6'5", 267, 40-inch vert, and just ran an unofficial 4.6 40.
I think you said James Pierce, who's a North Carolina native, played at Tennessee, ran a 4.5?
4.5 unofficially, but yes. And he's really he and Stewart, actually, are two of the kind of first round in the mix edge rushers that are actually participating in the combine. A lot of the guys are choosing not to work out.
Running a 4.5, I'm James Pierce. How tall is he? Like 6'4"?
Yeah, I would assume so.
6'4" at 260-something pounds, running a 4.5. Put him at wide receiver. Go deep. No one's stopping you.
There's a lot of those in football where, or you see just somebody. I'm like, can't you just be like you're a 6'8"? Why can't? Where's LeBron or where's just any basketball player for a goal line option? You're big, you're tall, you're strong, you're fast. Why doesn't it work? But it's rarely does. He's 6'5", 243. He ran a 4.5.
Yeah, that guy should be a slot receiver. He would tear it up.
I mean, he's essentially the same size as 10 pounds heavier than DK Metcalf?
Maybe 20, but yeah, something like that.
I think DK Metcalf at the combine was 6'4", 233 and ran a 4.33.
That's a linebacker.
And DK Metcalf fell to – you want to know an all-time, hilarious deal? Go back and look at the stats in college and the combine of DK Metcalf and then explain how that guy fell to the second round. He ran like a slow, short shuttle. And people just freaked out saying that he's not going to be able to change direction in the NFL. He had 1,200 yards receiving at Ole Miss, 6'4", 233, and ran a 4.3 340. And he fell to the second round because his shuttle time wasn't ideal. That's what I'm talking about when I say don't let something that doesn't matter from the combine impact your decision-making. Sometimes I think just because the combine happens and they give you information, you feel like you have to take that information and change your opinion. It's like, oh, look at that. Not a great short shuttle guy. But he's a giant that can run by everyone in front of him. Maybe that should matter more. Maybe. Just throwing that out there. Let's look at bracketology real quick. Wake Forest lost to Virginia. Dennis, how much does that hurt Wake Forest's chance of making the NCAA tournament?
Massively when you couple it with the loss to NC State this past Saturday. That actually impacts Wake Forest. Wake Forest was still right there on the cut line of possibly getting into the tournament. Even with the loss to NC State, this only kills their chances further, especially when Georgia gets a big win over Florida. SMU gets a win yesterday. all these teams in North Carolina getting a win a few days ago, all these teams that are competing and pushing for spots into the NCAA tournament, it doesn't help when you lose and everyone else around you wins. So it's a massive blow for them.
Unfortunate, and this is going to sound – Wake Forest won. Wake Forest did all over themselves.
Yeah, they still play Duke on the road coming up in a couple of weeks. Actually, I'm sorry, next week.
That is a narrow path to the NCAA tournament is, hey, we can still beat Duke. They might, and they played them. They've played them tough, and we've seen them upset Duke in the past. It's just it seems this era of Wake Forest basketball under Steve Forbes, who I'm a fan of, they're always like, if 5 teams from the ACC make the tournament, they're the 6th best. If 4 teams make the ACC tournament, they're the 5th best. If 8 teams make it, they're the 9th best. Like, they're always just one step away, and I'm sure that's wildly frustrating. And it's a consistency thing, right? We can watch Wake play well against one of the top teams in the ACC, and then they'll turn around and lose to State and Virginia. It's the Wake Forest up and down thing. They went and Wake Forest did all over themselves.
So, yeah, Wake Forest, if they do, for example, if they go on the road and they beat Duke.
Changes everything.
It changes a lot because they will have a win over the top team in the ACC in Duke and a win over Michigan, the top team in the Big Ten, which carries a ton of weight.
I am not saying there's a 0% chance of that, Wake Forest. Again, crazier things have happened. You just painted yourself into a really, really, really thin corner when you're like, hey, as long as we beat Duke, we can still do it. And by the way, they also might have the opportunity in the ACC tournament to match up with Duke or make a run to the championship and all that. Like, it's not a 0%. It's just your life is so much easier if you just beat State and Virginia. And that's not asking to move the sun and the stars. That's asking for something realistic based on how much talent you have on your roster. Elsewhere, how cool is what could potentially happen in the Triangle on the women's side of the ACC? We were talking about it earlier today. You brought it up. Could we have 3 teams hosting within 45 minutes of where we sit?
Yeah, there's actually a legit possibility. So in the NCAA women's tournament, the top 16 teams in the tournament host. So it all depends on how the selection committee, basically what the selection committee decides. And again, each of these schools also have to vie and get some petition.
You have to show that your facilities can handle it.
Yes.
And it happens.
Can your facilities handle things? Hotel, do you have enough hotel stays in the area and all that kind of stuff? But because of how good these teams are, NC State being a number 9 team, or being 8th, I think UNC's 9th, and Duke is 16th, which, by the way, Duke and UNC women's basketball play tonight. You can listen to that on Buzz Sports Radio. And NC State plays at home at Reynolds against Wake Forest tonight. But all these teams in the Triangle, with their rankings and how good they are, and they have the facilities to host, and they all have hosted in the past, we might get State, Duke, Carolina all hosting NCAA women's basketball first and second round games, while also you have men's first and second round games taking place at the Lenovo Center. So you might have 4 regional sites here in the Triangle.
That'd be awesome.
It'd be amazing. All going on at the same time. Make it happen.
I almost don't think it should logistically be possible, but I think it's one of those puzzle piece things that might actually work. Because if NC State men and women played in the same place and not Reynolds and the Lenovo Center, it would be tough to do because Lenovo Center is hosting one of the men's, and that's been decided a long time ago. But because that they play in different arenas, it could potentially happen, right? If it were, it's cool. One of the cooler fan moments I had as a college student was our women's basketball team hosted a early run Delaware. It's when we had Elena Deladon. So surprise, you have best player in the country. You get to be one of the top couple of seeds, and the electricity is awesome. And when it's on campus and when it's your home arena, it's different. I get why the men's conference or men's tournament does go to neutral sites exclusively, but it's something special about the women's tournament that you can have it in home arenas and you host, and it's really, really fun. If there's 3 of them happening kind of simultaneously right around here, and you mix in a little of the men's action, I mean, it's not a joke, but I do reference the Triangle as the mecca of college sports and the mecca of college basketball. I don't know if anything would prove it more than having all 4 of those going on kind of simultaneously.
I want it to happen. I think it'd be great. Which, by the way, it would be awesome to keep local schools that are competing here. But the Lenovo Center might actually have Duke as a 1 seed playing at the Lenovo Center. They're projected to be playing in Raleigh for the first and second round. Also, some schools that are projected to come to Raleigh, potentially Alabama, also as a 1 seed in their respective region. You might get UConn, Baylor, Illinois. All these schools are right now projected to possibly be here in Raleigh along with Duke. I mean, these are big-name, great basketball programs. Like, bring them all. Bring them all.
And, local business owners, be ready for a large influx of travelers coming to the area to watch some basketball.
Right? Hey, restaurants, hotels, the whole deal. Get that Airbnb up, folks. Clean the apartments.
Should be fun. Hopefully it happens. Fingers crossed for all the local teams that have a chance to make it. Hopefully they get in. The Drive with Tim Donnelly, 99.9 The Fan. We are coming to a close here, but Overdrive, we'll talk more state basketball in reaction to last night's loss. Canes and Stormwatch will be right here on 99.9 The Fan with Adam Gold at 6:30. That'll lead you into Puck Drop for Whalers night. Canes are hosting Buffalo, or should I say Whalers are hosting Buffalo tonight. You can hear it right here on 99.9 The Fan. I want the Canes to play fast and loose. I want them to play free. I want them to play well. Everybody relax. Everybody relax. We'll see you tomorrow. Follow us on YouTube. Until tomorrow, have a great night, everybody.
Tonight's forecast.